So I've talked about this before, but it's this important, so I'm back. On April 4th, Wisconsin will have the most important election in the nation, and democracy needs your help for it to go the right way. It doesn't matter if you know nothing about Wisconsin or Wisconsin's Supreme Court. This election will affect you, so I believe you should have the opportunity to affect it. Wisconsin is the ultimate swing state. When you look at voting records, Wisconsin is a clean split, if not Democratic leaning. But those numbers are not reflected in state politics or policy, and that is because of their 4-3 far-right Supreme Court. It's the court who drew the district maps for the state, so that 6 out of the 8 congressional districts went to Republicans, despite the progressive leanings of the state. It's the court that's allowed almost every form of voter suppression, so that the Republicans control 65% of the state house, despite having at best 50% of the vote. It's the court that reinstated an abortion law from 1849, one of the most extreme in the country, as soon as Roe was overturned. And it's the court who will decide if Wisconsin is allowed to send electors to Washington who didn't win the popular vote, potentially swinging the 2024 presidential election to Republicans, even if the Democrats win. But the Wisconsin Supreme Court is going to have a vacancy. And unlike other Supreme Courts, the position will not be appointed but elected. And here is where we, the people who believe in democracy, can make a difference. If you or your family live in Wisconsin, who wins this seat is the choice between abortion being legal and illegal. It's the difference between your state being gerrymandered against the will of the voters or having free and fair elections. If you don't live in Wisconsin, this is the choice between supporting democracy or letting it die. And it's the choice between having the 2024 presidential election be fair or allowing the Republicans to decide who wins no matter what the voters decide. The candidate we need to be sending money to, volunteering for, and talking to our friends about is Janet Protasiewicz. Judge Protasiewicz is a former prosecutor who has dedicated her entire career to protecting victims. She believes in democracy, in fairly drawn maps, in people's right to vote, and that the person who gets the most votes should win. Her success is essential for protecting the reproductive freedom of millions of people in Wisconsin and is supported by everyone from public school teachers to Emily's List. While her opponent, Dan Kelly, is not only vehemently anti-abortion, but anti-contraception as well. Kelly is a hyper-conservative partisan who was endorsed by Trump after he voted to overturn the 2020 election results and hand Wisconsin's 10 key electoral votes to Trump against the will of the Wisconsin voters. A man who is this in the pocket of far-right interests has no business being a Supreme Court justice, which explains why MAGA PACs and far-right donors are dropping tens of millions of dollars into Wisconsin to get him elected. We cannot allow that to happen. No matter where you live in this country, this is an election you need to care about. And quite frankly, if you can swing it, throw money at. If you have ever wanted to make a difference, but you weren't sure how to do it, this is a real opportunity. Go to wisdems.org. And if you can't give money, give time. Spring elections are almost always ignored. But the results of this one election will not only be instrumental to the fairness and lives of the people of Wisconsin, but it'll play an outsized role in how our presidential elections are decided in the future. At the end of the day, who turns out for this election will affect us all. So we have to make sure it's the people who believe in democracy and fairness and freedom that come out on top. Don't wait. Do this thing. It will matter.